Hey guys, Mr. BDK here and welcome to a new video. In today's video we'll be doing Tottenham Hotspur and their FIFA 21 Ultimate Team ratings. Hope you enjoy the video. So starting off with the goalkeepers, firstly we've got Gazaniga, or was it Gazaniga? However you say it. I've put him up by 1 because he played a lot more this season due to Lloris being out with a dislocated elbow. It is either dislocated elbow or shoulder. But yeah, I've put him up by 1. His goals conceded isn't the best, but the reason I put him up by 1 was just because he's played a lot more games recently. Next we have Hart, new signing for Spurs. I don't think he played one game for Burnley last season, so I've kept him at the same rating, but personally I don't rate Joe Hart, but yeah, I think it'll stay the same. And then the last goalkeepers we have Lloris. Not too sure about Lloris. I don't think he can get upgraded, but I can see him maybe getting downgraded to 87, but I've kept him at 88 because he still is a very good goalkeeper. Now onto our defenders. Rose I've put down by 2. As you know, he's just come back from Newcastle on loan, but he's now 30 and he doesn't look like he's going to improve. And I feel like 80 rated was a bit too high for him anyway, so that's why I've put him down 2 rather than 1. Next we have Davies. Davies, he's been alright, but I've put him down by 1 just because I'm not too sure about him, plus Tottenham haven't had the best year, so I'll put him down by 1. Then we have a new signing for Spurs again, and that's Doherty. Put him up by 2 because he's had 2 informs this year, and he's also been very good for Wolves last season. But yeah, I think it's a good signing. Aurier is not good in my opinion, so he's a good replacement for him. So yeah, put him up by 2, so I think that's a good signing for Tottenham. Then to our last page of defenders. Firstly we've got Sanchez. He's been alright, he's been average at best, so I think it's harsh for him to get a downgrade, but he definitely won't get an upgrade, so 83 I think it's a fair rating. Then our final defender for Spurs is Alderweireld. Put him down by 1, which some of you may not like, but I've put him down by 1 just due to his age. I don't think he is still a class defender, but I think the pattern EA go through where they start to slowly decrease people at their age, I can see him maybe getting down by 1. Some of you might be wondering where Aurier is. I left Aurier out just because there's been a lot of talks of him going to AC Milan, I think, so I left him out because, especially with the arrival of Doherty, I think he won't be a Tottenham player this season. Now onto our midfielders for Spurs. Fernandes hasn't really played for Spurs. I think he made a 1 Champions League appearance, but yeah, no reason to upgrade him or downgrade him really. Next we have Tottenham's last signing so far, and that is Højbjerg from Southampton. I've put him up by 2 because 1, I think the transfer itself would boost him up by 1, and then he done quite well for Southampton last season, so I think plus 2 is fair. And lastly on this page we've got Eric Dyer. I was considering about putting him at centre back, but he's actually played more games at CDM this year, so I don't know what EA would do, because towards the end of the season he has been playing centre back, but kept him the same rating because I think again he's been pretty average. Now onto our next page we've got Sissoko. I haven't put him up by 1 or down by 1 just because I think he's been average this year, but he has had injuries, so I think it's harsh to downgrade him, and he hasn't done well enough for an upgrade. Next we have Winks. I was contemplating whether to put him up by 1 or not, but I did put him up by 1 just because he's been getting into the England squad a lot more, he's been called up, and he's been decent for Tottenham this year. Although Tottenham themselves haven't been that good this season, I think he's a fairly good centre mid for England and for Tottenham, so I've put him up by 1. And finally we have Ndombele. Kept him at 81 just because he hasn't played as much as I thought he would under Jose Mourinho, but I think that's more between a relationship between them. I think Ndombele has class, and if Spurs lost him, that'd be a big loss. But yeah, he was good at the start of the season, but then he got injuries, he weren't being selected, so I think the same rating's fair. Now on to the final page of midfielders. Lo Celso I've kept at 83 just because he's not been bad this season, but he's also not been phenomenal. He's been above average, but not enough to deserve an upgrade, so yeah, I've kept him at 83. And then our final midfielder for today is Dele Alli. Put him down by 1 just because I think 84 was too high for him anyway, and he was a bit overhyped. But yeah, I was considering putting him to 82, but looking at his stats and that, he still had a big involvement for Tottenham, so I think just down by 1 is fair enough. Now onto our first page of attackers. Sessegnon hasn't played that much for Spurs. I think he's made like 4 appearances or something, so I've kept him the same. That says it itself really. Next we have Bergwijn, as he only came in January, but he was very good at PSV. But yeah, this is actually an official rating. EA have tweeted a video which you can see a few ratings, and Bergwijn has actually been converted to a left mid and put up by 1 to an 83 rated. Pages Lamela, kept him at 80 just because he's not the best, but for Tottenham for some reason he always seems to score when they need him to, so yeah, I've kept him at 80 rated because he's not bad, but yeah, I think he's been average again at this season, so he should stay the same. And finally we have our last page. We have Son. Put him up to 88 just because I personally think he's Tottenham's best player just because of how diverse he is, and I would love him at Liverpool. But yeah, put him up by 1 because he's been good again this season, plus he's had 2 informs. He's had 3 informs, but 1 was the thing they done during COVID, so yeah, he's had 2 actual game performance informs. I've put him left wing just because he's played more games left wing than I think he was centre forward this year, but yeah, he's had more games left wing, so I can see him being changed back to a left wing. Next we have Harry Kane. Kept him at the same just because he is class, but he gets injured too much, and he's phenomenal for Tottenham 1 week and then drops off a bit next week, so kept it at 89 rated. Maybe he deserves a 90, but I think 89 is alright. And finally we have Lucas Moura, same rating, just a different position, as this year he's played a lot more at right wing than he has centre forward. Is he centre forward? Pretty sure he's centre forward this year. But yeah, put him at right wing just because that's where he's predominantly played this season, but no change in the rating because I think he is a very good player. So yeah, that's his rating and position change. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. If there's any other teams you want me to do, feel free to leave a comment. And have a good evening. Peace.